Oh my good golly gosh. Holy moly. What the frick? It's a total war. Single faction tournament. Ladies, gentlemen. How are we keeping? Hope everyone's doing well. Pretty excited for this one. There are some frighteningly big names in here. Good lord. Blood Penguin, Seagulls. Really nice to see. Really nice to see the turnout as well. Hopefully we'll get to cast, if not all the games this evening, then at least most of them. And first and foremost, I want to give a massive thank you to the Phoenix King for putting this together in Tequila's absence. And of course, the Tequila Sunset, who's been hosting these for God knows how long. Certainly before I became part of this little community. And likewise to the night crew NC for them putting this all together. So cheers, lads. Thanks for that. And we do have a replay in already. Does look like it's going to be Lizardmans versus the Greeny Boys. Alright, let's take a peek at this. Curio versus Gapadores. Curio, hello. Welcome in. Good to see you. So we are both streaming on the Twitch and the YouTube. So whichever one you personally prefer to watch on, feel free. It's in the description. There should be a YouTube command on Twitch as well, if that's something that you're interested in. But yeah, let us take a quick little peek at the builds. This is the Lizardmans. We do have some of them there. Salamanders, the Umbral Tide, the Aura War. Some Cold One Spear Riders following in behind. We do have the Blessed Stegodon. Another two Blessed Stegodons, my word. Some Skink Cohort. Saurus. Nice. Excellently done there on the side of the Lizardmans. With the Slan. What has the Slan got? What's he got? Got some Cold-Blooded. Some nice damage spells there. Shield of the Old Ones as well. Very handy. Banishment. Bounce spell. And then Awakening the Wood. Earthblood. And of course that Life Bloom, giving that passive healing. And then from the Greeny Boys, we have the Savage Orc Boar Boys, some Orcs, Broken Tusk Mob, the Aura War, the Orc Boar Boy Biggins, some a front line of Orc Boys getting some chopping in. Of course, regular Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And some, interesting, we have a little bit of Skirmish Cav following up here with some River Trolls there to saturate into the front line. A Night Goblin Big Boss. What is the Goblin Big Boss? Squig thinking. He can summon Squigs. Interesting. And then we have a great Shaman here and Gobbling. Don't even try it. Vindictive Glare. Just to get some poke down. Arcane Conduit as well. I'm trying to think of Spell Mastery. I think that's all the abilities they have. I think that's... We have some Squig Herds then as well to saturate in and do some decent work. Should be a good match to start us off with, as we are going to see some immediate poke right off the bat here with our Stegodons just going absolutely ham on it, just to get some quick poke in. I believe they're going to be targeting those River Trolls, which seems to be the play here, as we do see that Vindictive Glare coming down on the Slan, taking a tasty bit of damage right off the bat there. Nicely done, as we see both sides. We see the rush starting to begin here, as we're having this small, quiet little skirmish game, but it does seem that they're going to try and hold down the point to begin with. As we're seeing some very careful play with these skink skirmishers here. Not really wanting to get too far ahead, get shot to bits. But it does look as though those trolls are going in a little bit ahead of the rest of their crew. The boys following in slowly but surely, as we're going to get some of that skirmish cav getting some shots down onto whatever. I believe they're going to be shooting at Blessed Stegodon, if I'm unmistaken, and it does seem as though they are getting a nice little bit of chip here. We do see these skinks starting to saturate in, holding up these Boar Boys, with the Cold Ones coming in here, hopefully to try and hold them down. These guys aren't going to get a charge bonus into this. That might, there we go, a tasty one for the Velociraptors, the clever girl, going in there to get some. And we do see, even this side here, it seems to be going quite well. Both flanks going quite well here for the Lizardmans, getting to tie up some of those very valuable mobility units, stopping them from doing much. We do see a Blessed Stegodon getting caught here in the Squig Herd as the front line is coming down to begin with. Where are those trolls? Big stinky fellers hiding in here somewhere. Ah, there they are, saturated into this front line, managing to break through, but they are going to be continuously chipped down here by the skink skirmishers, getting some really tasty chip down onto them there, as we see now. Look at this here. Stegadon is going to have his cavalry, the right of the Rohirrim there, but angrier and might eventually turn into a bird at some point. Very nicely done, as we see these cold ones here saturated in with some orc boys. That's not a place they want to be, with their skink cohorts slowly but surely disappearing as they're trying desperately to get the hell out of there. Good lord. It's half a HP bar, and on the other flank here it seems to be going much, much better, as we do see them... The Oaks is doing a decent job here of just chipping them down from behind, as they are going to be fighting the Broken Tusk mob here. Gonna be... it's kind of looking a bit cagey here for the lizards. But looking at this, neither side has managed to capture the point. The river trolls are going to be falling back. The front line is crumbling. Uh-oh. The armored orcs now locked in combat with the giant dinosaur and his compatriots. Smaller compatriots. As the front line slowly but surely seems to be chipping down. But it does seem as though the shaman is taking a pretty nasty fight, getting the lizards to just chop away at his legs. Not a great position to be in. Is he about to flee? And if he does, I'm not sure taking this fight was necessary to play. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The Arachnarok not doing a fantastic job, but we do see the cavalry, the doggos, trying to get the dive in here just to let him escape. Maybe he might be able to come back, as the Swamp Things are managing to come back in here, but they have no infantry support. They are going to be going up against the dinosaur. The Wa has been called, as we still see some Umbral Tide in the background. They haven't been taken out yet. Uh-oh. How much value have they gotten? A little bit, not much. Oh, they certainly have it now. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Oh dear. As you see, Night Gobblings here going for the Spinnas, the loons coming through here. Uh-oh. As the Squig Herd manages to get a dive here, but they're pretty much tattered. There's not much of them remaining. A full health Savage Orc Boar Boy in the background, looking to try and get in. And the Shaman did manage to rally, sacrificing some of that skirmish cav, who may yet rally themselves. Oh dear. Oh dear. Uh-oh. I think that's the orcs have just kind of run out of steam here. Some of their mobility pieces are quite healthy, but if I'm looking over here, we do see the cold ones are still in really good nick. We do see the Squig Herd trying desperately to path into the Umbral Tide here, but they do seem to be... Uh-oh. That's another unit of the orc boys doing well. They have been caught, but I just think that the greenskins are just a little bit too weak here to kind of pull this back. Yeah, we do see... Yeah, they don't have anything really to deal with the Stegodons here. And yeah, look at this. Routing again. A few tattered units left on the field. The Squig Herd there chasing something off, but does look like the victory, as the balance of power would suggest, is looking very much on the side of the lizards, who are being chased. Some very angry squigs who are going to rout off. And I think that's more or less the victory kind of confirmed here. Yeah, I'm not sure what you do to take this one back. Ooh, that's rough. The big boss is still in play. The Shaman is basically dead here. And we Overcast might actually kill him. How much HP? Under 1,000, and then he terror routes off, and that's pretty much the only hope. Balance of power. Army loss is inevitable. Ripperoni in pepperoni. You hate to see it as a sports fan, personally. Wolf Warrior, welcome in. Endura, hello. Marco, it's Leodoro, back in. Donut, hello, hello. Welcome in. How did Yeah, that's rough. One of the boar boys. Is this the... Yeah, the Broken Tusks did okay. I'm not sure if they paid for themselves or not. Savage Orcs did okay. I think everything just did kind of alright. Oh, good God. The Stegodons did really well here. The Umbrals paid for themselves, I think, by shooting at those pesky dooders. Milky Way, hello! Welcome in. Curio as well. Scarbrand nerf cold ones, please. You know what? My uncle works for Creative Assembly. He'll get it done, okay? Don't worry about it. This one is a bit rough. Charge the Spider Shaman into Stegodons and take lots of damage. Sit back and get... Yeah. I mean, the chip is slow enough that maybe you can get some other value by running over. I honestly don't know here. I don't play either of these factions. I defer to some of the experts. I'm sure there's someone someone who knows these factions. Unfortunately, my experience is kind of limited, but the play-by-play, I'll hopefully be able to do the play-by-play for you all. Make sure it's a nice, entertaining tournament. Again, Tequila's away, and he's a mean caster. So we have some pretty big shoes to fill in that respect. Does seem as though we have some more replays on the go. Let's get all of them in there. Oh, High Elves into Wood Elves. I'd be curious as to what Prime brought into that. Interesting. Double basic steg is pretty good, and the free perfect vigor on the blessed one is just a little juiced. Yeah. Alright, we'll see what matches we have left. Phoenix King has an autosave. The Chorfs. I think that's all in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to delete that. That was a certified unfork bestie memento. And we'll see what we have. 1, 2, 3. We have 3, and we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which one did I miss? Spotify. There we go. Scarbrandu into Spotify. But yeah, kudos again for Phoenix King to put this together. They did a good. I was going to play in it, but then figured if I was going to cast that I would just kind of chill. Just get through there. Come on, put in. Here we go. As the fact that most greenskins don't really have access to healing as well means that chip matters just that little bit more. But we do have some more matches to... Huh? Hopefully we'll have some more matches. There we go. Alright, which one do we want to cast here? Interesting. Bretonia... Oh, good God. The Flyboys coming in here. Let's take a look at this one. Bretonia! Versus the slightly cooler. Queek goes sicko mode? Okay. You know what? You convinced me, Milky Way. You convinced me. Let's go. It's going to be Chorfs. Bit of Hero Hammer going on here. Double Thane. Rune Lord. With Thorek nerfed, there's a reason to take the rest of them, which is interesting. Some miners. A few rangers. A lot of... God, what? What is this build? Hang on a second. Alright, this is juiced. This is cooked. That's a lot of pew-pew. So we have our miner frontline. No blasting charges on this one. Probably saving up for the Bugman's Rangers, who have their little bits of healing. They have some passive regen, I believe, if I'm... No, that's the regular Rangers. Is it these ones? Yeah, they have some extra regular heals going on here. We have the Iron Drakes in the background, chilling just out of range of all the funny things. Double Hero Hammer. We have our Rune Lord here with the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Okay, hang on. Rune of Wrath and Ruin. There we go. We got it. Nice explosions. Rune of Speed here to get our little lads going double time. Epic. And then the Rune of Grugny gets some missile resistance on anything he's close to. Double Thane. I think the Thanes are taken pretty much naked. Not a bit on them. Not a bit on either of them, actually. Yep, both of them pretty as you see them. As I'm speaking, holy moly. And then from the side of Milky Way, we have Rogers. Some regular Poison Wind Globadiers. The Avalanche Mortars. Did I see some juiced up ones? No, it's just the regular Poison Wind Globadiers. Some Rogers. Little bit of Gutter Runner action here. Skaven Slave Slingers, just to throw in over. And then we have our front line of Clanrat Spears, just to tidy up whatever's left. And the Avalanche Mortars. And of course, Queek. Milky Way's favourite. He keeps taking him. And I don't quite know why. But he's epic for it. We'd have you no other way. Getting that trophy heads to take out some lords. Stand your ground just to buff up his extra little rats. Then the Plague Priest Going with Vermintide, Pestilent Birth, which was buffed in this recent patch, I believe. And then just the regular one for all of them casts. So as we see the lines coming forward, we do see the Rangers here looking to try and take out some stuff. Nuke off these Avalanche Mortars, which if they're allowed to do their business, are just going to go absolutely ham. They should be able to take them out relatively quickly here, as we're just seeing this front line get blasted. Uh-oh. Avalanche Mortars. Good lord, they're doing some serious work here. As we're seeing now, the Roguers just kind of chilling. Milky Way is kind of vibing. Just kind of chilling. Happy to let these Avalanche Mortars just do as much work as possible. Good lord, it's the rats. The Vermintide scurries forward. Angry little rats. Look at them. Look at them hobble forward as the miners are going to go for that intercept. Very nicely done. Poison Wing Globadiers are going to be taking an absolute battering here, as the Roguers are going to dive forward, try and take out some of these guys. Getting lost in the sauce here, taking out these regular miners, but it does look as though that front line is going to crumble, and it does. So too will the ability to keep all these ranged units safe, and it's not looking good. They have not, I don't know if they have the ability to actually outshoot them at this point, as the Globadiers now are going ham, lobbing in their nasty concoctions in over the top. Avalanche Mortars are still firing as well, meaning they're going to be able to get some serious damage in. And I'm not sure if we're going to have the keep out to actually keep this one going. Rangers getting pretty beat up here in this front line. Over here, the Rangers reforming up. They have managed to take out the Roguers, who are going to be scurrying off into another dimension. Where's Queek? Where is he? Look at him go! Oh my god, Queek! You demon! You were not lying. He's going absolutely ham. And now he's Clan Rat support as well, as he scuttles away. And we are going to see these Plague Monks come in here. Scurrying a little bit too close there, as he's going to have to skedaddle. Oh my lord, that is a lot of work going through here. As we see the Rune Lord beat up. One of the Thanes is incredibly healthy. Queek is still in really good nick as well, as we do see. Here's a funny one. Alright. I think the Iron Drake's explosive attacks, if they hit Queek, are going to knock him over 9 times out of 10. Which means he's probably not going to take much damage from them. Okay. Alright. I'd be curious. We'll have to see some point-blank shots here. We'll have to study this. But as we say that, some of the front line is slowly starting to dissipate here. As we see the Gutter Runners use up some of the last of their ammunition. Putting it to good use, though, firing off some more of these Rangers, getting them beat up. And the balance of power says here it's still dead even. We still have Hero Hammer, Doom Squad coming in, who are going to get tied up with the Roguers and Clan Rats. Uh-oh. Oh, this might be terrible. This might be really bad for them. Yup, mass keeping them isolated. And we have the Thane here. How much value has Queek gotten so far? I'm actually curious. How's Queek doing? How's our little guy doing? How's he getting on? Queek! Where were you when the Westfold fell? 600 value, not bad. Thane here, getting a little bit of... No, oh. Oh my. Queek is out here doing the Lord's work, as the rest of the front lines here are... Again, I don't think all of the front line is gone. Now it's just the ranged units holding out. Some Skaven Slave Slingers sent off into the next dimension, waddling over to Narnia as... Uh-oh. That is huge. That clump. Absolutely blasted. Balance of power still says it's dead even, but it looks like the Rune Lord's going to be... Uh-oh. Queek, you demon! Going off there. This flank here ain't looking too hot, as we do see the Poison Wind Globadiers lob them off here. How are they going to do? Pretty okay. We'll take a look at some of the values as the fights go on. He actually took him out. Queek! You mad lad. As the Avalanche Mortars are going to have to scuttle away. Roguers are back in play. It does seem Queek is taking some ranged fire here, but he's going mad. Axe crazy. We do see that was healed. That I'm not sure what that buff was. Trophy hits. He's weakened. As we're seeing the Skaven zone out some of this other stuff. Some micro slippages here. Forgivable. I would never micro skip. I've never left an entire full health crypt horror anywhere in the side of the field. Forgotten. Oh my god, you were not lying! Queek taking out another one. As we do see the Rangers starting to rally. But looking at this here, all of their units are tied up. And it does seem as though the Skaven are starting to blast ahead in the balance of power. The Avalanche Mortars down to their last bit of ammunition. They have more than paid for themselves in this fight. Slingers coming off here. Rogers coming in to get these Iron Drakes as they're tied up in melee. Another Iron Drake here trying to take out these Poison Wing Globadiers. As they're blasting them off, sending them skyward. And that's going to be... Good job, Queek. We're proud of you, bestie. Rogers are going to get peppered here with some shots, but they have taken out the Iron Drakes. And I think that's the army losses setting in. GG's to Milky Way. Team Milky Way eating well this fine afternoon. GG's. GG's. Oh my lord. The Hero Hammer. I think, what is it? 400, 800. About $1,000 in their back pockets. That's remarkable. Good lord. Yeah, not much there. The Trollhammers did okay, but interesting build here from the Phoenix King. Going for trying to shoot Milky Way off the board. But Queek, the MVP once again. Oh, 3k. Good lord. Eating well. Eating well. How did the Globadiers do? Midland. Clan Rat's doing okay. Alright. GG's. GG's. GG's WPs. Let's see if there's any more that we need to catch up on. Alright, let's catch up on the last of our games. We have some more coming in. 1, 2. Blood Penguin. Nicely done. We have a few more replays scurrying in. Unlike the Skaven, which scurry away. Let me just get all of these things tidied up here. And we'll crack on with another match. High Elves versus Wood Elves. Let's have a look at the Brett versus Chaos Dwarves one. Why not? Why the hell not? Yeah, we'll try and make sure everyone gets on stream at least once. Dirty cup of tea. I actually don't know how this matchup works on paper. We have some field trebuchets here from the side of the Bretts. Bretonia! Pegasus Knights up in the skies. And Albrecht. De Bordelot. The Foe Seeker. Wrath of Manan. Just to get some of that cloud clearing. Blessings of the Lady. And then the Braid of Bordelot. Getting that nice bonus versus large. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else here? Nope. We do have a Damsel of Life here, just to keep everyone topped off. Earthblood here for multiple entity heals. Regrowth for the single entity. Power Stone, just to keep the winds of magic flowing. And then we have some Men-at-Arms. Some peasants. Sneaky Git may not have been a good investment. That is a good point. Sneaky Gits, Sneaky Gits, Sneaky Gits. More Sneaky Gits. And an extra Sneaky Git. Drazawat the Ashen, of course, coming in here with the Flaming Breath. Burning Wrath, just to get some poke in. Dark Subjugation. Then Blazing Body. If he's in melee, gets a charged attack, which gives him melee reflection and physical resist. And then Dark Renown, +8 melee attack. A couple of the Bull Centaurs in here, following up behind, just to keep that front line juiced up. And the Kadai Fireborn. Interesting choice here. But there we go. The match is about to begin. We do see the evil dwarves, the dwarves with the cooler hats, of whom there's very few in this game. skedaddling around. We do have these horsies, but with wings, chilling out here in the skies. Maybe just to keep Drazawat from doing his thing. And he is taking a lot of damage in this. Oh, good God. That is not ideal that he got an absolute battering to begin with. As we do see the Pegasus Knights follow in here, just to allowing that opportunity to escape. Drazawat's taking a considerable amount of damage here. The Beastslayers of Baston, the Foot Squires, following up behind. Peasant mobs just taking up here in the flanks, not really engaging on anything. As we see, looks like an awful lot of the supporting infantry here is going to be taken out by these Pegasus Knights, who are going to be healed up. We do see, I think there was a regrowth or something that went down on Albrecht. You hear the damsel, we see that front line just about managing to hold. Pegasus Knights chewing through some of these sneaky gits. They're being sent off into Narnia. Goodbye, sweet princess. Another peasant mob is heading off into the rout. As you see Drazawat starting to go for that dive here. Look at this here. The Kadai Fireborn have dived in. Royal Pegasus Knights giving them a decent run for their money. The anti-large coming in clutch in here, and we see the more Pegasus Knights flying overhead, probably moving over to support this fight, which is definitely going over in their favor. This right flank committing fully to it to make sure that they get that win, but reconsidering perhaps to go after Drazawat, as we do see the trebuchets firing off, getting some decent damage, but they're going to have some friendly fire here in this one. Curious here as we see these peasants sending off men-at-arms, idling off here in the corner. But look at this flank is now secured. Not sure whether or not the Bull Centaur Rendors are going to be able to hold, considering they're going to have the full dive to deal with. Pegasus Knights managing to hold off here, getting a good dive against more sneaky gits. A blob has ensued, but a perfect target here for the trebuchets to get some decent damage in. Drazawat is doing okay here, but these constant dives getting chipped down into nothing. Are we going to see here just to try and keep this disgusting clump of duders going as a dive comes in here now from both of the Pegasus Knights? Don't know where the third is. The third one already engaged. She's hiding somewhere unless she's been routed off, which I sincerely doubt. Again, this here, the peasant mob diving in just to give a little bit of support. The hobgoblins are going to be terror routing as that is going to be, what's the exact name of that one? Oh god, there's too many abilities in this game. What's it called? Wrath of Manaan. There we go. I nailed it. Got it first try. As the Kadai Fireborn are starting to instability crumble away. They are gone. The Bull Centaur Rendors still have high entities, but it looks like they're going to be sent off as well, as Drazawat is going to be dived. He's going to be caught in the mass here. He's just about managing to path out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hobgoblins are going to be routed. That is going to be dangerously close here to the army losses, and so it is. Sent away. The French take a W. Hun, indeed. Master plan was to get through the infantry ASP and fight knights without them having infantry support. Yeah, that would be... Everything needs support, but... infantry support, but this was too narrow and needed the burning head and no chevron. And no chevron clownery. I think I did some testing last patch, Bahrain. I was actually shocked at how well the hobgoblins actually do into stuff that I think they just cleaved through dryads. They went ham on them. So obviously I look at the game through the lens of wood elves and vampire counts, which is probably a horrible thing to do. And they just mowed through them. I imagine the exact same thing is in effect here. But either way, the Kadai Fireborn didn't do great. Bull Centaurs, they didn't really have much support. And we've seen some really good support here from the Brett player. Diving. Exactly what... Jesus. Yeah, they did. They more than did well for themselves. The Trebuchet is doing some shenanigans. 1200. Good lord. They can do surprisingly well from what I've seen. So it's not a terrible plan, especially when they're punching down like that. But, oof, interesting. And now we have Spotify versus, I think it's Frost. Let me do a double check here. The bracket. Just about anything, every Beastman unit. Yeah, it's interesting. And I honestly, it actually took me by surprise. I think in one of my early tournament games, I say early, slightly more early than I currently am, I seen them go into VC. They can do work. They can do real good work. If I ever do pick up Chaos Dwarves, I'll have to mess about with them a little bit. The Chorfs, the Dowie with the cooler hats and sometimes without a beard. Because they're extra heretical. Alright, let's take a look at this one. And it does seem as though it was going to be Spotify versus Scarbrand. Earning his namesake. With Arbol. Arbol? Okay. Let's take a peek. Let's take a gander. But again, good job on everyone who's shown up today. Given an absolutely stacked bracket by the looks of things. 16 players. Y'all are cool and epic even. Who was that? Hang on a second, let me just do a double check here. Who was the... it was Angel who was on the Brett. That stands to reason. Alright, either way. Enough yapping. The yapper in question. On the side of Scarbrand, we're going to see some Blood Beasts just to give some support to that front line, but it's Khorne, so it probably doesn't need it. We have a skirmish corps of Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, doing some really good skirmish work to start off with. Skyla, going for that Forced Rampage. A Hellforged Bellower, just still seeing some really solid use in Ball. Going with that Eye of Khorne, severely got to get an extra Chaos Mon out of this. Fury of the Blood God getting that Explosions. And Thirst for Challenge getting a buff the longer he is in combat. Very cool, very epic, very neato Dorito. And then on the side of Kislev, we have the Watchman of the Night. Getting that anti-infantry in. Zargard for the armor piercing. The Aura War Zargard in here as well. More ones trying to play into that melee game. I'm not sure if it's enough going into Khorne. The Wolf Hearts here to get some nets to cause some shenanigans against Khornes. Possibly some mobility pieces just so they get an extra chance. The Warbears. They're a cool unit. I love the Warbears. Look at how cool they are. Epic. Neato Dorito. I love how Warhammer designs is like, what if we take something vaguely historical? Oh, good lord. Ouch. Good god, that's damage. What if we took some historical thing that was cool and then just, like, made it into a metal album cover art type beat? As we are going to see Kislev try and scamper onto the point ahead of everyone. Sila here going to be looking to try and get that rampage in. Isolate some units so they can be torn to itty-bitty little bits. As we're going to see the mobility pieces come in here. Arbol has been netted, but I'm not sure if that's really the thing you want to be netting here. As he is a pretty small target. He does on a little horse. Well, I say it's a horse. It's a dog. But an amazing horse? Look at his horse. His horse is amazing. Oh, well. He's going to be... Boris is going to be trying to give him a run for his money. I'm kind of curious. Actually, I forgot to say what Urson had. Give Forces Rampage as well. Stand your ground. Colossal Strike so we can hit super hard. As we are going to see this rush finally start to arrive. Blood Beasts arriving a little bit ahead. We might see these Aura War Bears come in to try and support. But they are going to have a grand old time as they're just going to get that charge in right off the bat just to disrupt the formation. Then send some Marauders in to just kind of run over what's left. And oh my god, that is damage right off the bat. As we're seeing that mass saturated in to keep them nice and safe. Akshina ambushers are going to try and pepper them down though, just to try and even this fight out a little bit, as the Watchmen of the Night are going to scamper on in just to try and add their little bit of support. Arbol is getting beat up. No, wait, no, that's not Arbol. Never mind. The Oath Brothers are getting beat up pretty badly here. They are going to have their Buyer Blood sent in. And Boris, all of these things in here are actually having a hard time. Boris is taking a beating. Arbol took a little bit of a beating, but that is not going to be a trade that's worthwhile, as the Oath Brothers are going to be sent off into Narnia. Their Buyer Blood is just going to keep them in combat, and they are dead. He's dead, Jim. Sent off. Again, this the Marauders of Khorne sent off. These Blood Beasts are going to, with that support, did not win that fight, but we do have a pretty beat up. Oh, look away. I'm going to look away there as the Hellforged Bellowers are just going to town. Actually, I have nowhere to look. None of this looks pretty as the Akshina ambushers are getting torn to itty bitty little bits. They're supposed to be ambushing. They're not supposed to be in the front line. Oh, God. As the Zargard now are going to try and move into support. Blood Beasts of Khorne are going to get that opportunity. The distraction piece, funny enough, was actually the Skirmish Cav, and they are going to get a decent charge in pretty much for free. Are they going to get a volley off? Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? They got half a volley off. That's not good enough. And they're going to have a whale of a time here, chewing up these poor little fellers with Arbol moving into support and the Skirmish Cav, and that's looking... I'd say we're not going to be far off army losses here, because that's pretty rough. The full health Watchman of the Night is just about holding this one together, and the War Bears are going to charge through. Kislev's plans, though, it seems, have been laid bare. Haha. I'm sorry. As we do see the Skirmish Cav now move in just to try and get some decent shots off into whatever else is left. Akshina Ambusher's dead. And that's going to be army losses. Probably, yeah, that's army losses. Pretty much. No, there's, yeah, I'd say that's... Are they army lost here? Tags. Milky Way got it. Milky Way! This is why we're Team Milky Way, okay? Good lord. Ouch. Ouch! Owie. Ugh. Yeah, you do not contest Khorne with melee. That's not a good thing. That's pretty rough. GG's, though, from Spotify. 600, not really paying, not much value here on the board. These guys did okay, but they had an awful lot of catching up to do considering everything else. And as for Khorne, oh, ow, okay, you did the Lord's work, sir. GG's. Good job, everyone. Khorne did pretty good. Some of the Marauders got beat up, but yeah, that's to be expected. Khorne always sucks. It's just gambling on the build. They have a few kite elements. They have some big stuff. They have mass. But I think that Spotify made the mistake of really trying to contest the frontline fight. Generally speaking, you try and go for kite. You try and pick, if you have the ability to, try and pick off some of the more valuable pieces. If you can do that, you're generally in a good way. But yeah, that's rough. Ow. Anyway, moving on. So we can get rid of that. Spotify coming in with some shenanigans, as he always do. I wanted though it was the kite. Interesting. Alright, we have an autosave. We've already watched that. No, I don't want to delete all of them. Yeah, oh, wait, there we go. We've already casted that. Let me just catch up on some of the replays here. There's a lot of them. We've already gotten those. Sorry, I'm just getting used to this. Spotify. That was that one. Okay, cool. So let's get this one in. Save. No, I've already saved some of these. Let's see which ones I've actually saved. Pardon me, everyone. There's so many replays. Oh god, what do I do? Ah, I'm scared. So got this one up here. Dash. I think that's a copy. That's a copy. Fire these over here. Get rid of these. Yoink! Gone. Disappeared into the ether. And then let's pick up some more of these saves. I'll probably find a way to make this easier at some point on myself. Where is it? Discord. Nice. Penguin versus Codex, I have that one. Versus Squig, I have that one. And then it's... download that. Download that. Download that. And we'll have a bunch of different ones. I think that's more like... I think it's just the Blood Penguin versus Codex that's left of round 1. And how are we fixed with the tournament? What round are we on? We are finishing up round 2. Excellent. Flying through it. Again, kudos to the lads. Brett versus Skaven was the last one. Yeah, we have them all. Okay, cool. So let's take a quick peek at what we're going to cast next. Penguin versus Codex. We haven't Ooh. I'm always curious to see what Blood Penguin's going to use as an Empire main. Going for those knights. Okay, okay. Let's take a peek. What's up, Alluvial? Challenge is just waiting for your result. Yeah, do make sure to log your scores and all that shenanigans. It just to keep the tournament moving along. And so it did. Excellent. Alright, what do we have here? On the side of Hjarg, the pirates. You are, in fact, a pirate. We do have some cannonades to get some long-distance poke. Deck gunners here to shoot down some stuff on the approach. A zombie pirate gunnery mob. 2 units, 3 units of the handguns, 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can count. It's epic. 2 units of the deck gunners, 4 of the handgunners. We have some bombers in the side, some zombie pirate deckhands filling out the front line. And Aranessa Saltspite, what does she have in her back pocket? She has Spearfisher's Net. Some charged event. Oh, just the net. Interesting. That gives a melee debuff. Interesting. And then we have some Lamprey's Revenge, the Oro War Shotty Squad of giant crabs. Look at them. Look at them. Look at how cool they are. Epic. And then, of course, we have the animated Hulks then falling in just for that extra little bit of mass. And we do have a Gunnery White, a Vampire Fleet Captain, actually, with the Power Stone, Nehek, and some Gaze of Nagash, just for extra poke. Then from the Empire, we have Spearmen. We do, in fact, have some Swordsmen mixed in with the Spearmen front line. We then have the Archers. Free Company Militia for some pew-pews. Silver Bullets, the Oro War Handgunners. Some more Spearmen just in a backup line. Knights of the Black Rose. And some Pistoliers for that extra little bit of kite. And then we have a Bright Wizard with, who would have thunk it, Burning Head to clear through that chaff. Some Fireball for some poke. And a Power Stone to keep the winds of magic flowing. Volkmar the Grim then with Grand Shield of Faith for that damage resist. Grand Soul Fire for some AoE shenanigans. Alright, let's see how this one is going to go. We do see some reforming of the lines here, as both sides are looking to try and get the engagement right off the bat. It does seem as though they forgot about the conquest point in this one, but oh well, you hate to see it in Unforged Bestie. And looking at this here, we are going to see Gaze and Nagash here just to get some solid poke against Volkmar. And it actually got some really good damage here against these swordsmen who are going to have some trouble now moving in. The pew-pews leveling some shots here into Volkmar on the approach. The Bright Wizard here, look at that. We do see the Burning Head comes through. Managing to get a really nice hit against both the handgunners. Zoning in on top of them, getting some good damage. And is it going to hit anything else? Nope, it does not, unfortunately. Rippa. It was aimed at the swordsman. I've seen Volkmar take some damage there. I was confused as he is on his horse, whose horse is amazing. These bombers are getting shot into the next dimension, though. As we see the front lines now starting to engage. These chaps here are going to get some decent shots into the... are just about getting some shots here into the Spearmen. Just to clear out that front line. Less stuff to have to worry about. Again, the Empire front lines are incredibly cost effective. Looking here, the cannonades still firing away. shooting up some of these pistoliers. Look at this, the Lamprey's Revenge moving into range just a little bit. Literally scuttling forward as the front lines now are starting to engage. Animated Hulks here chilling in the backfield. Knights of the Black Rose managing to get in. There's a massive gap here. But look at that. Volkmar is just taking so much damage. That is not a place you want to be, as we are going to see the hand cannons move forward to try and get extra damage in. Uh-oh. What are they going to be taking shots, pot shots at? Just out of range here, as the Knights of the Black Rose are going to take some serious damage. But the haggard unit of Knights of the Black Rose managing to get in here as the Lamprey's Revenge are going to just skedaddle forward to get some good damage in on them as the cannonades level in, but they are going to have some of their shots blocked here by the Lamprey's Revenge. Look at that there. These guys are going to be beat up, but they are still going to be shot away by this unit of handgunners who are still in really good nick. And look at that. Knights of the Black Rose, the right of the row here, moving through, getting some decent damage in on them as the animated Hulks here just to get some mass between these swordsmen who are going to be routed off and the cannonades who are still shooting away. Look at that. Handgunners are going to live. Well, they're going to undeath. They're going to be fine. They're going to be a-okay, as now we are going to see these chaps here, the deck gunners, get some shots off. Maybe onto the Bright Wizard, but it does look as though they're changing targets onto what seems to be the Huntsman, just to get them off the field. Keep these animated Hulks still in the fight, as they are going to get a nice counter dive in on the Knights of the Black Rose, with Aranessa falling in support, but they are going to actually skedaddle in the wind-up, as that is, these spearmen are going to be sent off into Narnia. They are now out of it, as we do see now the Crabos. What a way to go. You're either going to be shot on the retreat or you're going to get eaten alive by a crab. Not a fun way to go, as the Knights of the Black Rose are going to be sent off, routing, but they may get an opportunity to rally, as we're seeing this front line slowly but surely start to crumble as the range units are still very much in play. These Huntsmen now next on the dinner plate. Look at this, these animated Hulks now looking to get some run-ins here against these Free Company militia. The counter gunpowder not going to be enough to take it. Where's that? Bright Wizard is still here. I think Volkmar is still in play as well, as he still has that little bit of healing. Regenning away to his heart's content, but that is going to be nasty as the Burning Head doing what it does on what it says in the tin. Volkmar, Jesus. He does manage to get that cast, but it might be too little too late, as the balance of power is still very much in the favour of the Vampirates, who'll be singing sea shanties about how great this game is going in their favour so far. Free Company militia caught, but we do still have the silver bullets here just to get some counterfire into the Lamprey's Revenge, who are dangerously close to crumbling, but they're still very much in it, as we do see the shambling horrors aggressively come in. Some really good counterfire. They might not actually manage to reach, but a cannonball to the face. Oh, that was absolutely horrifying. GG though. Some zombie pirates still keeping the kite going. The archers are going to be able to scuttle away, but are they going to actually be able to get these guys to crumble? No, they have reached the lines. Might be worth actually getting some counterfire in here on the animated Hulk, so they might be able to last. Lamprey's Revenge happy out, and these cannonades virtually untouched. Going to be hard. I don't know if the Empire has it in it, if they have enough gas in the tank to be able to come through on this. But the cannonades still making pew pew noises to their heart's content. Epic, cool. The Empire have some, I think from what I'm able to tell, and again I'm very new, so I'll defer to everyone else's judgment. It's the fact they can do so much and do it so well. Please tell me that's not going to friendly fire. Please tell me that's not going to do it. Oh no. Oh no, not a good day to be an archer. Okay. Whew. Good lord. That could have gone so poorly. As we do see the counterfire coming in here. Look at this. The Free Company militia getting some counterfire in here. These might be worth actually trying to get in on melee, as they're probably going to do well in this counterfire here. Oh my god, it looks like it's Empire Total War here. Oh my lord. But they're gonna have some covering fire here. But the spearmen are probably not going to be there, and if they are, they're not going to be there for long. Sucks to suck as we see the Sartosan Free Company skedaddle. Volkmar's in full rout. He's in full retreat. Archers are in full retreat. Silver Bullets just about... No, never mind. As I said it, I was like, oh, they're still just about hanging on for dear life, but no. As we are going to see some counterfire here. Handgunners going ham. As another burning head just tears them to pieces. The vampires aren't out of the woods yet, but they still have so much stuff. Most of the high value stuff. I don't think the Empire has enough in it. With the Lamprey's Revenge. A lot of their stuff is still in very, very good nick, and it looks like they're in full rout. Volkmar's managed to get his act together. Rallied the will he be able to rally the troops? No, he's going to take a cannon to the face. Unfork. Hate to see it. GG's though. Shake the hand. And it looks like the vampires are going to go yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum into a victory here. Good job to Codex. Hard fought though from the side of Blood Penguin. He's going to have to pick up a penguin in the next attempt. GG's. And Omi, I'm just casting today. I was going to play, but I figured I might as well just cast it, seeing as it's a first real tournament. Considering there's some very, very solid players in here today. One of which you just witnessed there. Blood Penguin. Who I refuse to call anything but a penguin. Is another phenomenal caster. Seagaz is another absolute beast of a player. But GG's to everyone. Alright, let's see. Hope you've been doing well, Ominors. Let's see where we are fixed for the rest of stuff. Blood Penguin. Penguin, yes. There was a Elden Ring player who, for the tournaments, he always had a penguin PFP. And I just call him Happy Feet or Penguin. One of the others. Oh dear. Let's crack on anyway with more casts. And I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Omi. Homie Omi, if you will. Let's see how we're fixed for the bracket, actually. Again. Well into round 3. So let's pick up some more of these games. Thanks for... No, the pleasure is all mine. I always feel weird asking. Just as hang on a second. Let's just look at the values. Cannonade's doing good work. Lamprey's Revenge doing good stuff as always. Getting that number 1 mass. And number 2 having the shotties go burr. Good lord. That's a considerable amount of value on the deck gunners. The pew pews did 1300 on hand gunners. Okay, all right. Unfortunately, the hand cannons didn't do particularly well despite their namesake, but it was a good play. They're always good to have. Bombers did more or less sweet fuck all. At least one of them did. And the Sartosans did a solid job getting some good work in. Always nice to see. I think they're one of the few units that are allowed to get stuff in. And Aranessa had a good net. Volkmar! Some value. Decent stuff here in the Bright Wizard. And the Spearmans doing Spearman things. They did their damnedest. How did they? Yeah, the Silver Bullets did really, really well. The counter battery from the other gunpowder units did a phenomenal job. Look at this here. Even the Free Company did okay. Knights of the Black Rose kind of struggled. Pistoliers kind of struggled. Good showing here from both of them. Thanks to Codex for giving me an epic Wood Elf anti-Kislev build a while ago. So let me get rid of... Where's that match? Where is it? Where's it hiding? Did I already delete it? No, I didn't. There we go. Phew! Goodbye, sweet prince. Hey, High Elves versus Wood Elves. We didn't get a prime game in yet. So let's take a peek at that. Darth Plagueis. On the High Elves. This is one of those matchups I struggle quite a bit in. Wood elves into high elves. They just have so much ability to just outshoot you into oblivion. And with their shields and stuff, it can be quite good. So I'll be curious to see what Prime is going to bring. It's going to be Doombolt, isn't it? No, actually. Spellweaver of Life with the Earthblood. As opposed to... That's a lot of Earthbloods. Oh, these ones get bound regrowth. Interesting distinction. Cool. Going for regrowth, but looking to spam them out there with Life Bloom. Good choice. Extra Winds of Magic. We have some Glade Riders. Just some mass support and some harassment. Always good with the Light Cav. Eternal Guard. Just on the flanks. And then it's going to be Treeman. What? Mad lad. Absolute mad lad. And then we have the Lost Sylvan Knights here to get some Cav action going. Some very elite Cav. But these guys are going to be pretty squishy depending on the build. But it looks like they're going to be fine. Some Dryads in the front line as the front lines are about to clash. Rangers. Some of the cool units. Athel Tamara Faithbearers. Which are here because of the tournament rules. Rangers. More Faithbearers. Rangers. Silver Helms, who apparently need to be nerfed according to Prime. Lothran Seaguard. More Lothran Seaguard with their shields. And then the Fireborn. Another unit of Silver Helms there for the Cav contingent. What did we see on Eltarian? What's he bringing? Is he goated with the sauce? Some Armor Piercing, Tempest, and Apotheosis. Pretty standard stuff. He of course has his Mistwalkers. Barrage! Doing all sorts of shenanigans as we see the front line start to engage here. Some Dryads doing their best. Really nice cast there. Getting some really nasty damage there on that. Wait, what was the cast? What casted that? What did that? Ah, the Waystalker, who I missed. Who does have the Arrow of Kurnos. Really nice one. Down on the flanks. Getting a full line of damage in. Right on across the trees. Avenging the other trees. As the Lost Sylvan Guard are going to have a hard time here. Glade Riders are going to struggle here. Against the superior Fireborn, but that will demand that they actually get a charge in. Rangers routing off right off the bat, but it's an even trade here on this front line as we see this Glade Rider starting to crumble over here. Eternal Guard are going to try their damnedest, but they're not trading very well. As the Zotes, I love the Zotes. Especially given that after the buffs, they seem to be doing quite good stuff, especially with the ROR. Getting some really nice heal. All of this stuff, did they actually? They did. They actually got the heal here. And they're going to be doing some good counter-charging here, getting that armor piercing in. But they're going to be very vulnerable. Especially with their flaming attacks. It's going to be a hard time for all involved. Tharian the Grim is going to skedaddle away. But it might have been worth here for the Zotes to actually focus on the Fireborn here. Because the Stag Knight ROR, the Ghosty Goop ones are going to have a bit of a hard time dealing with these. And the Zotes are basically going to guarantee to win that engagement, if not trade incredibly well. There's another Arrow of Kurnos! Doing some really solid work here. Getting another really good cast in there. As the Waystalkers, the Hawkeye, the Aura War Waystalkers are going to do a decent job here, getting that counter battery in. Might be worth actually targeting these, the Fireborn here. Ignore Eltarian. Go straight for these, considering that these are going to be a hard thing to actually deal with their really nice armor piercing anti-large. But they are going to skedaddle away into the sunset. Set up for a charge as Eltarian is going to be caught in the mire that is that mass. But he might be able to get off. The Waystalkers really getting some good value in. But looking at this here, the Fireborn are going to go for a counter charge here against the Zotes. They're going to have to be careful though, as they're going to be counter charged themselves by the Lost Sylvan Knights. This is going to be nasty here, considering that they have some really nice armor-piercing anti-large. This seems to be a build built specifically with the duty of dealing with their anti-large. Really nice tech pieces here. I'm probably going to steal that in this matchup. As the Fireborn are going to skedaddle away. Fireborn being a liability once again. It seems that way as they're scuttling off. Some of them might escape, but I think we ignore that now. Let's not pay attention there, as the trees have taken exception to these archers. and are going to start chipping away at them. They are going to rout. Looking at this here, it does seem as though Prime is going to take this. Finally channeled his hate boner for the High Elves into something productive. Actually getting the... It looks like he's going to get the W here, as the trees helping out these poor Eternal Guard. As we see him scamper in at his leisure. With some triads there, just as a little bit of security. Lost Sylvan Knights here are doing a good job. They have sent these Silver Helms, who have to be nerfed, by the way. Just want everyone to know that. Glade Riders coming in for the counter charge here against the Fireborn. Will the Glade Riders win against these? No, they did. Okay. I answered my own question. Rip. As we do see the Spellweaver of Life pop in, just for an old look, to try and deal with these last of the Lothran Sea Guard. And it does look... Balance of power is very much going to be in the favour here of the Hippie Elves. Waystalker's still full HP. The trees, angry trees at that, are going to be scampering, and that's the army losses. GG, WP, shake the hand. Hippie Elves have proven themselves to be superior. It's settled. There is no doubt. They've won one tournament game so far that I've watched. Therefore, I'm a believer. But yeah, some nice tech pieces here from the side of Prime. Zotes, of course, doing a good job. Treekin, I'm not sure why you put them out in the flanks, given that you would ideally want them to have some infantry support so they don't get chipped down into nothing. Lost Sylvan Knights, doing some oh my good... it wasn't... Okay. Alright, I'm going to level with you all. It wasn't looking good. I wasn't a believer. But they seem to have done some really good work here. And with that regrowth support, phenomenal stuff. Mwah, chef's kiss, GG. The horses did their damnedest. As we can see here from the value they managed to get out of it. Stags are in fact better than horses. And this single unit of Waystalkers, the Aura War, doing a really, really good job. I've never played Kislev again. You know what? Okay, Spotify. Alright, before we crack on. Was it Pasha you were arguing with at some point? Where you're like, they're OP. I'm going to go into a tournament having never played them before. Was there a lesson here? Was there a lesson in this one, Spotify? I'm going to wait the prerequisite third. Okay. You know what? I could respect the double down. GG's. Either way, the Fireborn did okay, but they just weren't able to carry hard enough. The Silver Helms, 900. Yeah, they did okay. They were fighting Glade Riders for the most part. They did fine. And, Jesus. Good Lord. The hail of arrows really paid off, but again, just not enough. The Faith Bearers of Altamara, I actually don't have any idea how much they cost. And then the Rangers did okay, cleaving through some of it. And Eltarian didn't do great. He got caught in Zotes, which I don't think is advisable. Alright, that was that one. I think that's everyone. We've casted everyone now at this point. And let me just check in and see if there's any more matches. We're still waiting on the Blood Pingwing Frost. Someone might have gotten cold feet. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. I'm hysterical. Alright. I'm gonna stop now. I'm not gonna go there anymore. Okay. Let's see if there's any more matches that we need to pick up. Where's the thing? You've pinged me somewhere where I don't actually have the ability to post, by the way, Phoenix King. In Human Boys Discord. Apparently, I'm not sure why. Where is the Discord? It's lost. It's over. No more replays. It's over. I'm sorry, guys. Let me change. Yeah, I do appreciate it, and thanks for letting me cast this. And same goes to Tequila. I hope everything is up to snuff as I desperately fight with Discord. Where are you? Did I drag it somewhere? No, there it is. It was hiding in plain sight. What matches don't I have downloaded? Alright, I think I can drag these in. Cool. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you again. It means a lot, duder. Blip, 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 blip. Here, we'll crack on what we have. I'll get back to that. I'll get to that in a moment. All right, what match do we want to watch? What Tonya into? Is the rats? We are the rats. What do we? That's going to be a question for Phoenix King. That's not a question for et moi. If you read the challenge, it gives you a list of all of the units you're allowed to use. Okay, this is funny. Look at him go. All right, what is this? I have to watch this. Alright. Okay. Alright. The great squiggening of 2025. What is this? Frost, you are God. You're a legend. I love you. Never change. We have never spoken. A squig moment, says SK. What a legend. I'll put down the post in that now in a second. Alright. Oh my god, it's a squig blob! What the fuck? Anyway. On the side of the Chaos Dwarves, we're going to see a load of Hobgoblin sneaky gits doing sneaky git things. The Blunderbusses doing crazy work. Bold Centaur Rendors in the background. The Rendors. A Demon's Tongue Iron Demon. Some Infernal Ironsworn. Gobbling Labourers. They are not on the payroll, though. Unfortunate. Wait, hang on a second. What does the Sorcerer Prophet of Death have? He has Flaming Breath, Doom and Darkness for the leadership debuff. Spirit Leech, because greenskins struggle. They have no healing. And then we have this. We have... That is a lot of squigs. There are... Excuse my French, but that is a metric fuckload of every squig under the sun. All of them. We have some big squigs. We have some Aura War big squigs. We have some squigs tied in knots. We have... it's a doom blob. It is a blob of squigs. There we go. We even have... He's on a squig as well, isn't he? Where's their lord? I can't actually pick him out. The shaman is squigs. Spotify, you're going to have to up your game for meme builds, okay? Look at them go as they crash straight through. As they hit the front line with the speed of 1,000 angry squigs. The bull centaurs are going to jump in, but the mangler squigs are there in return. The acid burping his way into glory. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that the squigs have hit the front line and immediately some of them are folding. But is there enough counter battery for all of the squigs who are here? And the answer, oh good lord. The answer seems to... Alright. Can we have a moment of silence for Frost? Seems as though the balance of power is starting to go a certain way, okay? It seems that way. But he can bring it back. I'm a believer. Can he tie up the blunderbuss? No. I don't think... I think they're beyond tying up right now. The Mangler Squigs are going down. The Ride of the Rohirrim wasn't as epic as it sounded on paper. Mangler Squigs are getting brought down. The Acid Burpa and his friend were having a big conversation about whether or not they should just leg it. But they're still there. They are still in it, okay? As they're reconsidering the full route. The full route is... It is being reconsidered as Mangler Squigs are mangling. The Bull Centaur renders are still in play and are going to be chopping down. They're making mincemeat out of this Colossal Squig. The Iron Demon did in fact go down. All is not lost. The Bull Centaur renders are... Oh no, it's... Never mind. It's... Alright. I think army losses is very much on the horizon here. If one of these giant squigs are taken down, I think it's not going to look great. It's not ideal. As the Acid Burpa is being surrounded, is he going to be ground down? And I think there's some of them considering routing. Does he have Unbreakable? He doesn't. And neither of them are looking like they're going to explode. So they're not going to get some crazy value, and he just throws in the towel. What a build. What a build! What a build. Did anything even pay for itself? Had he been able to take out the blunderbusses, maybe this might have gone a different way. But I'm not even... They weren't even the things that did the most amount of damage. What actually did all the damage there? That's all. That is a considerable amount of damage on him. Was it the Infernal Ironsworn? No, it was just the Beers of Bazarak. And I guess the Bull Centaurs. The Bull Centaurs ate well today. But everything he did kind of struggled a little bit. That's sad. I was rooting for you, Frost. GG's though. You were a braver man than all of us, I think, put together. Milky Way, you have some big shoes to fill, friendo. Some rather large shoes. Alright, let me do the horrific self-promotion. And we'll grab some more of these. Was that actually uploaded twice? Yeah, it was uploaded twice. Never mind. Okay, cool. This could be an interesting one. We have a few more choices. Yo. Let me do the vicious copy-paste job. And then I'll grab some of the... stuff. Oh, there we go. It's here somewhere. Copy. We'll do the play-by-play on me attempting to do admin. I think that's the play. This is why everyone is here. That's why everyone is here. There you go. Pop him in with that. Hit him with that. And then we'll get rid of the embeds. Embeds for that one. There we go. Neat. Alright, cool. Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate you, bestie. And now let's mass download all of these things, and then we'll take a shot at. So versus Codex. Okay, so where is our last one? Pugnabun versus Kislev. God, there's so many of them. Dwarves. Skaven versus Wood Elves. Codex versus Gep. I have that. Brett versus Skaven. That's the last one. Download that. And download that. Yippee. And we'll be able to see a winner shortly. If I miss a match, let me know. Alright, cool. I think I have them all. Good lord. I'll find a way to make this easier on myself in future. Downloads. Yes. Copy. Cut that. And paste that. Alright. I think we have everyone. Did I get seagulls earlier on? I probably did. Alright, what's a funny bit? We've had the meme build. Now we need super serious stuff. We need a palette cleanser. Let's go Codex versus Gap. Or do we do... Actually, no. We'll go the Ooh. Ooh. Alright. Let's take a look at this one. Why not? Why not? There's a chance that this is a grind fest, but... So this is Seagauze. We finally got Seagauze anyway. In case we didn't get him before, and it's Pug. Seagauze on Nurgle. Pug on Noska. Noska. Alright, what does everyone have? What do they have in their back pockets? What are they hiding? What is he building in there? Alright, well it does seem Throg is going to be here, and he's taken pretty much naked by the looks of things. God, he's going to have to cover himself up. That's outrageous. Flamestorm! Oh me, oh my. From the Mist, getting that missile resistance. Aura! Oh no. Not an aura, never mind. Kindle Flame for the buff, and then Arcane Conduit so he gets that Winds of Magic. Then it's going to be Marauder Berserkers. A couple of regular Marauders filtered in there as well on each flank. And then we have the Marauder Hunters with Javelins. For their anti-large, they're going to be lobbing them, and they're going to be doing some really good work. Of course, we have the Frolickers Bubonic. Pestigores. Making themselves pests, I guess. Rot Knights. Orowar, the Rotting Riders. More Rot Knights. And then we have a Chaos Lord of Nurgle, who's going to be having that Rot or Die. Cloud of Flies. Icon of Eternal Virulence. Try and say that fast. I dare you. And of course he has his regular stuff. Neat. Yeah, it's all Pestigore frontline here that seems to be doing its thing. So let's see as they start to reform here on the point. Looks like it's going to be a pretty standard rush, as it looks like they're going to be trying to move in behind. Oh, I missed the Fimir. I can't believe I missed them. Double Fimir. Missile resistance not going to be very useful here, but they probably are going to get those counter charges. They're going to fill up everything, help that front line, maybe get some counter charges against dive attempts as we see both of them kind of chilling out on the flanks. One flank is weaker than another, so we might see this side of Javelins hold for just that little bit longer, especially given that the Rotting Riders here are going to be looking to try and move around. They are very slow, but it does seem as though that front line is about to collapse in, and they are going to see that counterfire here from the Marauder Hunters, but that Chaos Sorcerer with Fleshy Abundance for those heals is going to be doing some good work there. As we are going to see now, the Javs move in just to try and get that counterfire, but it does seem as though the Fimir are going to be doing a really nasty job. But is it going to be enough, as we are going to see the Rot Knights doing well? No. Oh, Lord. As the Flamestorm is going to come down and get some really good damage here against the Pestigores. And the Fimir Warriors managing to hold. But this other unit of Fimir is just getting chopped to itty bitty bits. And the Rot Knights are going to charge in, getting that really nice counter charge here from the Fimir, who have won that one engagement. And it looks like this side is compromised. It looks like that side is compromised as well. Not going to be a good day to be a Marauder Javelin thrower. Not a good day at all, as they're going to be chopped at little bitty bits. The Bale Fiend. Struggling here just a little bit, but he is actually doing a decent job here of battering the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle. The surround has gone relatively well here. Looking here, we do see the Marauder Hunters in full route. The Fimir may yet rally. It's not looking great, but they actually do manage to get out. The Rotten Riders rotten to the core as they are, they do manage to pull around here, try to get a full surround. Regular Rot Knights coming in here just to try and get that counter charge. One pretty battered unit of Rot Knights still in play. The Pestigores are chopping away through Marauders. But it does look as though neck and neck here by the looks of things. Is the Vermeer still charging? No, we do see Throg trying to chase down that Chaos Lord of Nurgle. As another Flamestorm comes down, getting really solid damage. Flamestorm's coming in clutch here as the Vermeer is still locked in combat here. The Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle struggling to get out. Is he going to be able to do it? I don't know. It's not looking great. As we just see these jabs come back online. Rot Knight still hunting for them. They're pretty slow. There's another Rot Knight. All of the mobility pieces here for Seagods are doing pretty good. But Nurgle's holding it together. As that is going to be the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle having a hard time here. Might be worth the Trog getting a bit of a swing in. Is he going to be able to do it? Brutal Flamestorm that might be game winning. Yeah, both of them were really freaking good at clearing out that chaff. As Throg is still in play, we do see this Javs not able to shake off these Pestigores. Rot Knights are doing a really good job of just getting those counter charges in here. But he has to be careful that cycle charging is going to have to be on fleek, bestie. Oh my god. As these Pestigores are back. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle is still in play, but he's very, very battered. As you see the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, is he actually going to be able to get? Well, he has something active on him now. What is he doing? What is he building in there? Just Cloud of Flies. Not an ideal. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Say, Chaos Sorcerer is going to have to be a little bit careful here. Uh-oh. Vermeer getting battered down. They are out of play. There's still another pretty healthy, relatively healthy. Oh no. Is this it? Is Seagoz still there? As we're going to see the Rotting Riders, another Flamestorm comes down from on high. What the heavens blessed. But they are able to get out of that. Pretty nasty engagement. Still another unit of Rot Knights. This is... I actually don't know which way this is going to go. Seagoz is doing a good job of keeping his mobility pieces in play. But we still have those counter charge come in from these Vermeer. So it's really hard to tell. He needs to chase stuff off here. Both sides seem to be doing a handshake here of neither side taking the point. Rot Knights have rallied in the distance. These ones are still in play. They'll probably rally. Given that these Pestigores might give them enough leadership to actually come back from this. Rotting Riders saturating in here to into this fight. Throg is still an absolute menace. Balance of power is still neck and neck. Pestigore is chasing off these chaps. Pestigore is gone. Seagoz is going to have a bit of a hard time here. Just because he doesn't have much... So here's the thing. There's not much for these Rotting Riders to saturate in on. There's a lot of hammer, but not an awful lot of anvil. And it does seem... Where's the Vermeer? Have they... I blinked and they've just disappeared. Okay. He still has a pretty healthy Vermeer still in play. So this blob... Looking at this here... Throg's still very healthy. The Balefiend is still very healthy. And it does... Nurgle's still ahead in the balance of power, but this is all to play for right now. This is still kind of neck and neck. We will see some more heals come out. Yeah, there we go. The Fleshy Abundance to get that nice bit of a heal in as they're rallying around to get it. We do see a retreat onto the point. As they scamper on. No, they're just actually going to rally. Banners raised, waiting desperately to see how this one is going to pan out. I actually don't know how this one is going to go. If he's able to keep this Vermeer online and not isolated, this is going to be a really good fight. But The Rotting Riders. Both of them trying to get as much heal ups as they can. Again, neither side really jumping on the point. The point doesn't put up a good fight. That is true. We're just gonna fast forward just a smidgen, just to, as both sides are kind of gathering themselves together. We do see now Seagulls putting a clock. Maybe skedaddle a little bit more. Tip us down a cheeky flamestorm. What does the caster have? Fleshy abundance, so he's gonna be trying to heal stuff up. Fleshy. We have seen a couple of heals come down on the Sorcerer Lord, just to, not the Sword, the Chaos Lord, just to try and keep up. And we're boxing on Nurgle. Not Nurgle, and Norska. The box. The dreaded box. And they're just going to be vibing out. Was this the match that took forever? It's looking like it. I can understand why, as finally, both sides are trying to sort stuff out. And now the charge begins. Rotting Riders bursting through this front line. But they are just going to get a nice charge in. We do see these Pestigors march in. And they're going to have some support here coming in the background from the Rotting Riders. Look at that. Charging through, doing some serious damage. Pestigors coming through. Uh-oh, the Flamestorm comes in. Rotting Riders here now that the Famir have been sent in, as we are going to see these chaps come in, getting some nice surround here in the Bale Fiend. Really nice charges coming through here. Marauder Berserkers getting chewed up. Bale Fiend having a hard time, but the Pestigor support is disappearing into the ether, but the balance of power seems to suggest otherwise, as we'll doubtless see another Fleshy Abundance if there's any more gas in the tank, and there is, coming down here on the Chaos Lord of Nurgle, just to keep him in play. Does look as though it's a hard time for Norska, as that is going to be. Yeah, and I'd say this is it. There maybe he might be able to claw this one back, but with the balance of power the way it is, with stuff en route as it is, Conquest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if you'd sooner both sides stare at each other for 5 minutes, more than a very slow march towards the enemies as we have a full surround. It was neck and neck, but it's not looking good. It's still... Ugh. Balance of power is teetering, but very much in the favour of Nurgle. And let's fast forward. That is going to be Nurgle taking it. GG's. Good fight. Rot Knights did a really solid job. Yeah, look at the values on these fellers. Good lord. Pestigors did pretty well. They did okay. They did phenomenally. Look at this. Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle. Of course, the Chaos Lord of Nurgle. Sticking around to the end. Throg doing a good job. Bale Fiend comes in with some really clutch Flamestorms. I think that there was one Flamestorm that probably could have gone another way, but once these chaps were compromised and the Famir just weren't able to hold, pretty nasty. GG's to all involved though. Y'all put it. That was a good show. Bit of a grind fest. Aha! We have. Do people want spoilers? Do people want the spoilers for the people chilling in chat? Do we want it? Because we do appear to have a winner. Good job to Scarbrand. But waifu-ified by the looks of things. GG's, well played. Very, very nice. But let me get rid of... We see it again! Holy. Good lord. Yeah. Pug. It was Pug. Not... I don't know how I got confused there. GG's though. Alright. me see. What fights do we want to cast here? What do we want to take a look at? Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean it. Alright, well, it's a caster special now. Too late, time to load. I was going to grab a drink, but it looks as though my voice is going to have to suffer for another bit. Although I do have a drink beside me. Delicious. Alright, what's Lich cooking? What is Tactical Lich cooking? So, we have the Skavens. Wow. Rats, we are the rats. One of two Skaven players today. We have some Night Runners. Some Roguers in support. On each flank, it seems. And a little bit of mass backup to stop stuff from just running through. Skaven interns. Unpaid labor. Epic. Wowzers. Also, hello, Stowe. Poison Wing Globadiers to do as much friendly fire as humanly possible. And a rattling gun. Epic. Look at them go. Look at them go. You love to see them do well. And then on the Warlock Master. What's he got? What's he got? What is he building in there? Brass Orb. Flensing Rune. Arcane Conduit. A little bit of Spell Mastery. And he's going to be scurrying away. And then, from the Greenskins, Boar Boys on the flanks, with Savage Orc Boar Boys backing up. Squig Herds, just to keep everything in order. Some more. The Pig Cavalry, doing Pig Cavalry things. Good on them. Orc Boys as a front line. Getting Dice Choppers ready. Some Arab Boys. And Azag the Slaughterer. The Slaughterer. Doom and Darkness, Spirit Leech, and then just Life Leeching, just to get as many casts in as he can. Did I miss anything? We did. Like Goblin Big Boss. What has he got? Squig Thinking. Can summon Squigs. Secret Squigs. Epic. As the front lines are going to be engaging shortly. Look at them go. Look at them scamper their way. Does seem as though the Skirmish Corps is going to have a bit of a hard time, but the Rattling Guns on each flank are going to be moving into support. The trap has been set. Roasted pork is on the menu. Who knew that machine guns would be very good into cavalry? As we are going to see the Roguers now take some a little bit of friendly fire on the charge, but they are going to burst through. And we do see Poison Wing Globadiers come in for a bit of support, but we do see the Swamp Things move into support here. But yeah, look at these Rattling Guns go. Burr, good lord. Absolutely brutal. As we are going to be sacrificing our Skirmishing Corps just a little bit. You hate to see it. My computer is starting to chug a little bit. Oh dear. Too many particle effects. What are you doing? Oh my. Ugh, that's not good. Either way. Looking at this, the Night Runners are going to be scampering away, but not before taking some Savage Orc Boar Boys with them. I'm going to look away from over there and see if that helps. I may have to... Because of all the lava, it does seem that way. I've never had this happen before. Promise, sweetheart. As we do see the front line, Storm Vermins moving in here to get the support. I will. Thank you, Prime. Absolute grind fest going on here in the center. Arab Boys in combat, probably not where they'd want to be. The Orc Boys trying their best to grind through, but look at that. Flensing Rune comes down. Flensing the Rune, and we do see the Orc Boys sit on the point, chill out, vibe out. Swamp Things here taking advantage of the fact that the backline has been compromised. Looks like most of the Skirmishing Corps is gone. A moment of silence, please, for the Night Runners. Eshen's almost finest. Having a hard time. Roguers are still in play, though, so there's still a little bit of mass to hold everything down. And it does look as though the ride of the Rohirrim is in play. Ominously charging in the background as the anvil of the Swamp Things holding them in place, but oh good god. Look at them go. Look at them go. Crashing in. That's probably a moment of silence for those Rogers. When you hear these Storm Vermin still grinding it out. Fun fact, Storm Vermin blobs can outgrind vampire counts. I am mad about it. I just want everyone to know that. I just want to point that out. As we are going to see the rattling guns light up as, well, try to light up Azag. He's going to be taking a little bit of damage there. Storm Vermin still saturating in here, and the Storm Vermins, the Warlock Master, on his Doom Flare, rolling about. Looking at these here squig herds, trying their damnedest to chew through. But it's not to be. Alas, Skaven Slave Spears holding, despite their better nature. So we're going to see Azag skedaddle about. Probably going to want to dive on those Globadiers, but there's still enough cavalry in play. Did the Rogers actually beat? Ah, Poison Wind Globes off screen. Neck to them. You hate to see it. Does seem as though it is in the Orcs' favour. Lich is having a hard time trying to get rid of them. But look at that. The Flensing Rune comes down. Are they... Did it? It did. Okay, I was wondering if something had disrupted them. But he's on a Doom Flare. He shouldn't be thrashed about the place. And the Orc Boar Boys trying their damnedest. Rat Ogres are just about holding on. They've done a really good job of just keeping the... of playing puck with the Savage Orcs. The Boar Boys. The pork was just not to be. Azag is going to be chasing off the Warlock Master, though. And if he gets the kill, it's Jover. Uh-oh. Look at him go. The hamster wheel of doom. But with knives. Super edgy. Look at him as he crests the hill. And a dragon in hot pursuit. Look at him go. Send him off there. Still have some Arrow Boys up. Doing some shenanigans. Poison Wind Globadiers are still in play. I think that's it, though. Once the Lord Saunders on off. When Poison Winds are going to be taken offline, I'd say we're on the cusp of army loss. One, the little Storm Vermin that could is going to get rear charged here. Army losses is in full effect. GG's. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones. GG's though. How are they doing? Some of them got no value. Others did okay. They did. The Rogers I was quite impressed with. That is a good idea. I'm stealing that. And I'm not going to give you any credit. You've played yourself. Love it when that happens. The enemy character's running to the way to the farthest corner. I think they did it on purpose, personally. Okay. I've been pinged? Okay, it's not for nothing serious. I didn't do anything wrong. Phew. Okay. Alright, what did... Rogers did okay. Got some good value. They kept the boars. They messed up an awful lot of the boars. I was actually shocked that these guys did as well as they did earlier on, the rattling guns. It's nice to see them get some pew-pews in. Look at that! 200 kills on Storm Vermin. Good lord. And then the Warlock Master. He did okay. Azag also did okay. Chasing off the Warlock Master. Frontline doing its damnedest. The piggies oinking their way to glory. And the squigs, I didn't see the squigs do much. They were there. These guys did decently well. They seem like a unit that needs a little bit of support though. Alright, I am going to take a very quick break and rest my voice for a moment. And stretch the legs. I recommend you all do the same. We'll crack on with more casts in about 2 minutes. So I'll chat you all on the far side. GG's to everyone so far. You're putting on some very entertaining matches. Let me delete that last one before I do go, because I will forget otherwise. And that will be uncool. Ooh. We'll take a break from the Skaven, but we'll probably take a look at that one in a minute. Where is it? Where is it? Where'd it go? I've lost it. Well, I've lost it for a while. Anyway, we're just going to BRB. I'll chat to you in a second. Righty then, welcome back. I can finally delete that match. So we've seen some greenskins, we've seen some Norska. Let me turn off the... Oh, I do need to do another thing actually. Let me just adjust the audio just a little bit. Just a little bit too loud. There we go, that'll do. Yeah, it's a really good soundtrack. It's one of the very... I've never actually played the game, but I've listened to the soundtrack. I'm excited for the second one, simply for the fact that I get to... simply for the fact that I get to look at... listen to the soundtrack more. Alright, what do we have here? We have Norska. Let's go! Dwarf. What is this Kislev? What? Spotify, what are you doing? What is this? What? Alright. Alright. I don't think... Okay. Interesting. Man, we're getting the builds today. This is wonderful. I love you all. Thank you for making this so entertaining. We'll probably not get through all of the casts today, just as a warning. We'll have to come back during the week and we'll plow through some more of them. But either way, what do we have on the side of the dwarfs? Dwarves. We have warriors. A full line of them doing their thing. Backed up with a line of quarrelers by the looks of things. And some handgunners in the background just for some single entity sniping support. The Skyhammer Squadron up in the skies, keeping them safe from anything that we don't want up there. And there you have it. Oof, as the cannonball comes in. Are we going to have a really cinematic shot? Are we going to do it? Are they going to be able to dodge? Misses. Hit and miss. You hate to see it. But yeah, and on the Lord, we have a Rune Lord with that rune of slowness. And some Slayers in the background just to deal with any counter dive. And then on the sides... What is this build? What are you doing? Armor Cossairs with some regular Cossairs. Ashina Ambushers. Wolfhearts as well. The Oral War. We have the things in the woods in the background just doing their thing in the woods. Funny how that works. And then we have the hero Goon Squad. We have Castalton, the Song of Winter Sunlight, Tor's Battle Hymn, Sex Lullaby for the little bit of healing, and of course the Passive by Our Blood. Does he have anything else in there that I need to worry about? Urson's Ward, Courage of Sacrifice. He's pretty much given him everything, good lord. And then some armor piercing plus base movement if he's weakened. Epic. The Golden Knight. What's she rocking? What's she rocking? Totem versus. No magic damage, but I don't see any hammers. Nope. Any hammers? Nope. Okay. Unfortunate. And then, does she have anything else that's cool? Tsarina's Guardian. Immune to flanking and some fizz resist. And just Foe Seeker. And then we have Felix. Rockin' Blood Oath. Helping Hand. Just boofing up the boys. Epic! Cool! Let's see, as the little Grom is going to make pew pew noises in the side of the direction of the dwarves. Trying to take out some of these Skyhammers, but doesn't look like they're going to be much of an issue. As they copter their way forward. We're going to see the Wolfhearts probably get the dive on these guys. They're inching ever closer. And they get the net. And are they going to be taken out? Is the little Grom going to... No, he's not. Oh, okay. Alright, are they actually going to be able to take them down? They're doing a ridiculous amount of damage, but unfortunately I don't think they managed to kill any entities that Grom shoots. But unfortunately does not score. You hate to see it. This... Oh. This doesn't look great. Maybe if he's able to kite this one out. As the dwarves are going to take the conquest point. They may have some trouble trying to grind everything down. Dwarf warriors are going to get into these armored Cossairs. These regular Cossairs are going to be charged. If not taken out, they'll not be in a position to at least shoot for a while. As we are going to see the little Grom getting counter batteried here by the Thunderers. As we see the things in the woods now start to inch around, looking for their opportunity to get in. Front line is already, I say, the singular front line has managed to connect. Which isn't ideal. As the Slayers are going to dive Castalton, he does not want to be there. That is a bad time. That is not an ideal place for Castalton to be. As the Quarters are going to just give some extra counter fire just to help things out. as we are going to see the things in the woods try and move around. Slayers are in a position where hopefully they're going to be able to just ward off that dive for a little bit longer. The front line has already more than committed here, as Castalton is in the middle of Slayers, who are slaying Queen Yas. Oh my god. Looking at these Thunderers here, looking to try and get some shots in, as they're going to try and help out their Thunderer brethren. It does seem as though they're actually able to get in as a Rune of Slowness comes in, just to hold these chaps in place, so that the Slayers are able to do their wicked work. Looking at this here, we do see the Armor Cossars now are pretty much out of the fight. Castalton's pretty injured. Felix managing to take a full volley to the face, as these Dwarf Warriors are just chasing these guys forever onwards. And this here, these Cossars not having a good time, but the Dwarf Warriors have managed to land. The Wolfhearts trying to fight back, but seems as pretty much everything over here now is in full rout. When did a bomb drop the great weapons there, but the Golden Knights silenced the bombers? Interesting. Interesting. A little bit of value. One of the Slayers is going to have the yeah, there we go. This is the one that had Castalton, I think, surrounded. Everything did okay, but like it didn't really have a chance to do much. Imagine telling a bomb to shut the fuck up. Well, you see, you wouldn't understand. It's the vision. You have to understand the vision. Things in the woods didn't do great, but they got damage in. Little Grom did okay, but yeah, there's just not a front line here at all. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not sure what you were cooking with this one, but yeah. All right. Either way, we'll move on. Is there a match here that I think would be interesting? We haven't seen much. We've seen a bit of Skaven. It's been a while since we've seen a Brett game, so let's take a see in what the horses did. Is this a box? Oh, okay. Let's see what we got. Some build shenanigans afoot here. The Angel going up against Prime. If there was a matchup you'd expect to be taking Zoltz into, this is probably the one. We do see some Peasant Bowmen chilling out in the backfield. The Arty getting ready to smack some archers when they appear. Some trebuchet. We have the men-at-arms here, proudly guarding the trebuchets in the backfield. More men-at-arms polearms here, awaiting the front line to crash onto it. Battle pilgrims with the Grail relique. And then this here, the Damsel of Beasts, that flock, just to get some extra damage. And of course, Leon Ka. Stand your ground. Lion Shield. Sword of Corone. The Blessings of the Lady. And the Ladies Champion, getting that bit of regen as well. And on the side of the Wood Elves, spears. More spears. And shields. Spears. Double Zotes, one of which the Aura War. Enigmas. Some Wild Hunters of Kronos, which, with their armor piercing, and I believe it's magical damage. Yeah, decent armor piercing, bonus versus large. Not going to be super useful here. Kind of the same here with the Zotes. Both of them anti-large. We're expecting some Cav. Glade Riders, looking to just try and get a little bit of work in. And then the Glade Guard in the backfield here, just to shoot over the top. Getting peppered by a little bit of artillery to start out. Kind of the nature of the beast. Wood Elves not having any arty does hurt them a little bit. Unless you consider the Sisters of Twilight being artillery, which they kind of are, I guess, if you think about it. Or the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. As that front line is just getting peppered with arty shots. Artillery holding off, shooting the archers until they're dead still. We do see this reshaping of the backfield here as the box has now formed. But with the amount of mass that we see here with the Glade Rider, with the Zotes, and the other few bits and pieces, they might be able to crash on through, but do they want to? Probably not. As we're going to see the archers here move up forward, who are now going to be shot by the trebuchets. Trying to get some stuff in. Fuzzy Lady. Look at this, they finally get their first few shots in. Oh, we didn't go through with the Doombolt. Doombolt doing Doombolt things. ICBM finds its mark, knocks her on her ass. Kaboom. Kabam. Kaplowy. And it does look as though the SCs are going to have a bit of a struggle here, as we are seeing the Glade Guard get dived by Leon Kerr. Another ICBM should be inbound pretty soon. The Glade Riders are going to get the charge in here on these chaps, which is... Ow. Pointy sticks are kind of the are not really the thing to do into Cav. As you see a regrowth come in here. Glade Riders here trying to get a cycle charge in on them. One of the Glade Guard have now been sent off into the next dimension as Leo is just chipping his way through them. Probably a bit of a mistake not to have something guarding his backfield on the side of Prime. But it does look as though the magic is now no longer the play. As this front line... If we look at the front line fight here, this is very much going in the favour of Bretonia. As that is going to be an archer taken out as they are going to skedaddle off into the sunset now once more, not really finding their opportunity to get in. Looking at this, the men-at-arms are slowly but surely starting to take damage as the field trebuchets have been found. We do now finally see the Enigmas try and find their way into this backfield to guard this pretty full health Glade Guard. We see the regular Zotes chilling. Have they used up any of their abilities? Not yet. I think they might have used one of them. Glade Riders are going to be sent off. Save the damsel in distress. Alright, I don't feel bad for the bad jokes now, Phoenix King. I don't feel bad now. As we are going to see these Glade Riders sent off. Looks like it's going to be cycle charge into spears. As another Eternal Guard is going to be sent off. We do still have these Glade Guards still in play. Leon Kerr is still vibing. He is vibing. As these Zotes are still very much having a good time. We'll notice that the Doom Bolts haven't been cast on Leon Kerr because the Flying Entities bug with Doom Bolt. It's pretty unreliable. As the field trebuchets are still very much in play. As the archers managed to actually come back into the box. I think this is going to be... This isn't a... Yeah, look at this. Is it going to actually hit him? It actually did hit him, though. How much HP? Out of his total. 664. Good lord. Nearly 1,000 damage right off the bat. Oh! He has been caught, though, by the Zotes. But he's able to escape. You need a full surround here. With the archers gone... And all of the stuff finally starting, we're starting to see that front line move. As the field trebuchet is continuing to go absolutely ham on these Glade Guard. Yeah, between the dives from Leo, a few other bits, this has been a bad game for the Wood Elves. They're kind of struggling here. Balance of power is... They're not out of it yet, but with all that anti-large and still having the trebuchets up, now is the time. Yeah, they can just unfurl the box and just go absolutely ham, and I think he has this in the bag. Yup. GG's. As the box unfurls. And specific Great Eagle gets Mistaloff, for example. The Ripperdactyl mount for Red Crescent gets hit pretty much all the time, unfortunately. It feels super inconsistent. Because I've had a flat out miss a dragon standing still. Like out of 3 casts, only 1 hit. It's so weird. It's so weird. And sometimes it'll hit them while moving. Other times it just refuses. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. Like legitimately the weirdest thing. Alright, so that game was casted. Excellent. What do we want to look at here? Codex. Let's take a look at Codex's Pirates of Sartosa versus the Last Defenders of Gep. Should be a good one. Let's have a peek here. See. All right. I think yeah, dragons are weird. It just the spell is just bugged to high heavens. I can't make head nor tail of it. Curio. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. As we are going to see. Huh? Okay. Interesting. Anyway, sorry, that's weird deployment. Wasn't quite expecting that. We are going to see on the side of the coast, Lamprey's Revenge, obviously. Some animated hulks here in the backfield. Shade Wraith deck droppers doing their thing. Zombie pirate deck hands. Saturating in amongst all these chaps. Deck gunners. Obviously doing some good poke onto monsters and stuff. Giselle type units. I think they do well into them. Another anti-infantry, never mind. I should not talk about the video game. Play by play. Stick to that. As we have the pirate gunnery mob here with the handguns ready on the background. More gunnery mobs. More of these chaps. Pirate gunnery mobs. Oh, we're lizards. We live in the woods, apparently. We do see the Damned Paladin, which is of course allowed. Because these tournaments are based. Unless they were already allowed before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if things have changed after the patch. And then looking here, we have Celastra. The Denizens of the Deep. Tidecall. Ghosts of the Past. An Arcane Conduit. Wowzers. Pretty standard build. I don't think there's any Sartosa Militia in here this time. Nope, just regular Zombozos. And then from the side of Gep, we have Chameleon Stalkers, Chameleon Skinks, and then our Saurus, Skinks, more Saurus, Cohort of Sotek, Red Crested Skinks, do some chopping, Feral Stegodon, the Umbral Tide, the Salamanders are going to be pretty nasty. Do they have fire damage? They do melee, and yeah, that makes sense. And some decent stuff here. The missiles. How's their armor piercing actually? 17, not great. But they'll do good work. Especially considering the undead are weak to stuff. And where's your lord? Where's he hiding? Where's he? There we go. Crockgar. Cold-blooded. Hand of the gods. Predatory fighter. And then... yep, that's everything, pretty much. Cool. Neat. Oh! Skink Priest of Heavens. Chain Lightning. Focus Instincts. Neat, as we're going to probably get a bit of a brief skirmish game to start off. Things getting into position. As we see everything reform. Just to try and meet everything meet it head on. As we are going to see now just the Chameleon Skinks do their thing to start off with. We're still waiting for everything to get into position. Animated Hulks here are going to be taken out pretty nicely. Yeah, the animated hulks are not having a good day. As we're going to see stuff reform. Look at the counter skirmish fire here from some handgunners. Doing decent work as the animated hulks here are slowly but surely going to be kept down. Chameleon Stalkers in the background looking to do their thing. Animated do manage to get a nice catch here on these Chameleon Skinks. as this front line is coming through here. And the front line is just about to hit, if not already. Gunnery, the bomb boys are going to be caught up in combat here. That is going to be a... Jeez, just deleted. Good lord. As we're seeing these chameleon stalkers come around. And looking at this here. Just look at the damage these bombers are able to do. As Crockgar now, with a little bit of support here, is going to come over after the damned Paladin. Looking at this here, we are going to see some good fire coming in here. Just maybe firing into the pole arms isn't exactly the best thing. I think there's probably better targets in here to try and take out. Specifically, Power Gunnery Mob here. But look at the amount of damage. Good lord. As that is the damn Paladin. Slowly but surely being chipped away. Looking at the Umbral Tide now starting to move forward. Probably going to take out these other units of animated hulks. As the front line is doing its vicious work. Look at, there we go. Look at them go. Chameleon Stalkers now managing to get the rear charge here against the Shade Wraith Gunners. Moving these Chameleon Skinks. Still kiting out. You are very dead, sir. A moment of silence for the Paladin. Ripperoni and Pepperoni. Lamprey's Revenge actually got taken out, is it? Oh no, it was the cast, I think. Slostra has it. Yeah, there we go. Denizens of the Deep comes out there. And they have already fallen apart. But the Damned Knights Errant are finally in play. Probably looking to try and take out the Umbral Tide. But with the flame attack, it should do well into them because they only have that physical resist. Are they going to get a couple of shots off on them? As they are going to get this they're probably going to get this nasty cast. Their nasty charge. Ooh, there we go. They skedaddle off, and look at that. They're going to be caught. The Umbral Tide is not able to get an attack off. That's probably the end of them. But an angry skink is going to refuse them. Look, as he punted off into oblivion. GG's. Good job, guys. Send them off. Yeah, look at that. They just get absolutely nuked down. And without the counter dive, it's going to be a pretty rough one. Where's the cavalry? Or did they die off screen? They may have died off screen. Or are they saturated in somewhere? Oh no, that is them. He didn't actually bring a cav contingent at all. That's actually a good move, going for the knights. Because it means you don't have your counter dive. I'm stealing that. That's cool. Neat. Neat! Because why would you? Because they're just going to get shot off by lampreys. Or the revenge of lampreys. Well, they have finally unappeared. Celestra only gets one cast of them, yes. But they more than did enough work for her. They more than did work for her. As lampreys are still in play. And they're getting kited out. And I think this is just a slow grind now into, can the rest of the army deal with Lamprey's Revenge? Because they are pretty much the only thing that's left. A few beaten to fuck handgunners, these chaps. Army losses is probably very close as the Bastillodon is just going to headbutt them to death. Celostra's caught in combat. This is just a slow grind to finish. And GG, Gep. Your funny deployment paid off. But a really, really nice use there of the knights from Celestra. Fortunately, the damn Paladin didn't really do all that much except die slowly. Cool unit, but eh. Cannons. Lamprey's Revenge. Oh, good God, you got value. Bombs did pretty good. How are we looking over here? Yeah, these guys... Without counter dive, really? That's pretty rough. Mayasaurus seem decent now with the buffs. What did they actually get? Hang on a second, let me just check real quick. Let me have a peek. What were the buffs they got from the last patch? I mean, they did pretty okay. More melee attack, yeah. Because I think it was the fact that they could just hold, but they would do like no damage before, wasn't it? They were kind of like dwarves. They just kind of sit there for an age and go burr. Also, so I'm just catching up on the message. My DM was considered doing a Skaven campaign, but we decided the amount of backstabbing would prevent any progress from happening. Understandable, I think. GG's. More melee, 3 melee attack. I mean, it's a difference. I haven't had the opportunity to try out the Karen rates since the buff. Is there anything else that was not that one? Orcs into this. We've done orcs fairly recently. What haven't we done? Oh, there we go. That was the fight that we just watched. Are there any fights people specifically want me to cast? If there's anyone that you'd really like to have looked at, I'd be more than happy. Because my voice is starting to fail. Batonia. Let's give them widows, dwarves. Is there any more elf games? I've seen dwarves recently. We can do this one. But yeah, if you have any matches you thought were really cool. Yeah, Scarbrand versus Seagulls. Watch that replay. I'm actually curious how Nurgle does here. Oh god, Rathmon. Oh god. Lots of doggos. Probably to kite out those guys. Or to zone them out, I should say. Alright, let's take a quick peek at the builds. We have Scarbrand. Using Scarbrand. Very on brand, I reckon. GG's, GG's. Rigid bodied for that rampage. And otherwise naked. Hellforge Bellowers. Bloodwake Berserkers. And the Slaughter Guard in a horrific blob. Oh, that's just horrifying. Oh, Lord. Alright. I'm gonna have to avoid looking at that. I don't want the stream to get struck down for inappropriate content. Dear Lord. As we see now, Marauder Horsemen in the backfield doing their Marauder Horseman-y things. Just to deal with the Angels of Decay, who are going to do some pretty good work here, considering they can just nuke down stuff, especially. I know in the Vampire Counts matchup, you pretty much have to build exclusively for having to deal with them. Festering Stooges, some Plague Bearers for more nukage. Exile Plague Bearers just for those nades. The poop nades. Very pro. Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Stream of Corruption. Fleshy Abundance. Cloud of Flies. Did they take? Yeah. Crown of Everlasting. Conquest giving him weakness to fire, but some regen. Into Corn. Interesting. Arcane Conduit as well. And do we have anything else? No, just regular Plague Drones. Keep everything busy, and then a metric shitload of Warhounds, I thought there was. Was there Warhounds? Where are they? Oh, they're hiding. They're in the woods. Sneaky fellers. Alright, it's the Angels of Decay, and these guys are going to are going to begin the skirmishing. They have to be careful of Scarbrand. Karnak, of course, is in here as well. Getting his net. And the reveals. As we do see the hounds. Smithers, release the hounds. And the hounds, they have indeed been released. We're now going to see them get some decent work in there. Look at that. They're going to charge in. I'm not sure which of them wins here. I think these guys actually do well, as they were seeing a counter charge coming in. We do see this unholy blob of shenanigans come down. Scarbrand here moving over here just to try and help. But it does look as though the hounds are just not going to be able to win this at all. Leaving the Flyboys in a spot of bother. That is not good. Very not good. Not looking great here for the Nurgle fellers, who are continuing to move up on a blob. They are going to try and contest the point here, but I'm not sure if they can outgrind. They'll do a damn good job for sure if the Hellforge Bellowers come out. Oh, dear Lord, that is damage. We do see Scarbrand continuing to try and kite out these guys, because again, if they get caught, they're in a world of hurt. Sorcerer Lord chilling out here in the middle. Good lord. Those plague bearers had wives and kids, dude. What the fuck? He's going to run out of ammunition. He's about halfway through his ammunition, and the Festering Stooges are down to about a third of their HP. So, some really good value coming out here. How much actually value is it getting here? Good lord. Ah, but the Angels of Decay are going to skedaddle up top here. Trying to get them in melee by the looks of things. Not electing to shoot. Curiosity that. As we are seeing them move up along the point. We are going to see as the Fleshy Abundance comes down on the Festering Stooges, trying to keep... Good lord. We do see the Sorcerer Lord kited out here. A really nice skirmish game here. The keep out on the on the behalf of the Khorne player, keeping this absolutely horrific blob of doom and destruction, darkness, evil that is the Bloodwake Berserkers and the Slaughter Guard. Doing a good job of trying to keep the Angels of Decay and the other duders from just diving onto them and getting some really good damage. As we see over here, Plague Drones just trying to chip these chaps down. Just keep them out of the fight. These Warhounds have distracted these Marauder Horsemen, but there's still two of them up in the face. The kite is going to be really, really useful here. Festering Stooges are still very much in the fight here as well. Not down to half models just yet, but should be pretty good as another Plague Drone is coming over here to try and keep chipping down these Marauders. Plague Drones are going to be losing HP, but the front line is about to engage. Let's just fast forward this a little bit. These are all important fights that are happening out here, but they don't seem that way. Because whichever side keeps their skirmish game alive in the long run is going to be able to nuke a bunch of stuff, and that's going to be the last of the Hellforged Bellowers. Even Nurgle can kite them. Yeah, they can, but I mean, let's be completely honest here. As soon as the front line actually engages, it's pretty brutal. We are going to see some shots peppering in here on what seems to be the trolling of the McCarnack. And now it looks as though the engage is coming down. He just nukes them. That is absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. The Scarbrand is still very much healthy, kept up, nutritious, delicious Nurgle boys. But with the Plague Drones now going to pepper him from on high. The Festering Stooges are getting cycle charged here. The little popcorn boys did dissipate into the ether. And it does look as though it's going to be a hard time for Nurgle to actually come back from this. What a disgusting blood. The Slaughter Guard, Bloodwake Berserkers falling in on top of these. The Plague Drones are just getting nuked. This is just nasty. Like, once the kite phase is over, and even then we still have some really solid kite elements left here from the side of Scarbrand. That's going to be all she wrote. Good night, good luck. GG's. What's up, Lich? Yeah, the early kite game was pretty important to see who came out on top of it. Just to even distract these guys so they couldn't just immediately dive. Just keep everything at bay, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, look at and say the fight. Once the front lines hit, was it like 30 seconds? You blink and you'll miss it. Scarbrand gets in, he gets the nuke. It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. Like, I wonder if we had Nurgle going for some Marauders to support the Warhounds, would it have made any difference? But ugh. I'm not a good enough player to be able to suggest stuff. I'd be just curious as to whether or not things would be any different. Because, like, the Angels, yeah, it's just rough. Yeah, Scarbrand pretty much nuked him. Karnak did his thing and stopped casts from happening. It's just, a solid showing. GG's to both. Well played. Alright, we can delete that. I'll save this one for last, lads. How does that one sound? Does that sound good? Because I have maybe 1 or 2 more casts left to me before I'm going to have to skedaddle and get ready for work. And just as I have you here, Lich, thank you for hosting the tournaments that you do. It's greatly appreciated. I come from another community and I was absolutely blown away by the amount of events and the dedicated people holding the scene up. So, y'all are amazing. I just want you to know that. Alright, where are we? What do we want to watch? So, we've already watched that. Yes. Skaven versus Norska. We've already watched this one. Are there any other games that any of you would like to have casted? Let's do Dwarves versus High Elves next. Why the hell not? If there's any ones you think were good, we'll do this one, and whatever one you reckon we'll do after that. And then I will skedaddle. And we'll finish casting some more of the matches another day. Alright. What are the builds? CD versus Vampire Coast. Alright. We'll save that one for last. And then we'll do them all during the week before I go on Holliers. So, we have White Lines of Crace. A full block of them. With a Lore Master of Hoth. With that Earthblood. Wiston's Wild Form. Just give them a little bit of a buff. Martial Mastery. Lion Chariots of Crace. It's lions. It's all lions. All of the time forever. All of the time forever. And then Alistair the White Lion. We've gotten a little bit thematic on this one, I think. And then what do we have hiding in the woods? Some Silver Helms. Not full lions. 0 out of 10. Trash build. Didn't commit to the bit. Disgraceful. And then, for the dwarfs, from the side of Phoenix King, we have Dwarf Warriors. Some Longbeards with the right weapons. Iron Drakes, funny enough. Some Quarrelers. Grombrindle, the White Dwarf. With his Grombrindle has no fear, which kind of does as it says in the tin. Give him melee defense and unbreakable in an aura. Flash Bomb. That's pretty much it. Some more Iron Drakes. More Quarrelers. The Thunderers in the backfield. And we're not seeing much counter dive here in this one. Alrighty then, let's get this show on the road. So we're probably going to see both sides look at each other for a bit as they get into position. The backfield is now going to be charged in by the Silver Helms. Nicely done. Managing to sneak on in there. As we do see Alistair getting lit up like a Christmas tree, but not taking much damage for it. But these White Lions are good. Yeah, that's the Iron Drakes are doing some seriously good work. As we are seeing the Lions move along the side to try and get in against this squishy backfield, which is looking oh so delicious and nutritious. Look at them get the beautiful surround here. Thunder is getting chipped down. Quarrler is about to be chipped down here as well. Iron Drakes are going to look tasty now in a second. But one Warline just trying to chill in the backfield. Neither side jumping on the point. Not that the Dwarves could if they wanted to. As we see a nice gap there that they're going to be able to jump through. That Chariot going to do chariot things and just blitz through that front line. Shaving off a couple of dudes on the flanks. Nicely done as the Thunderers are going to get some really good damage in here, but one of them is out. Quarrler down. As we are seeing some of that front line start to buckle. Not able to hold in, as we do see now these Silver Helms move in against a very juicy targets. All juicy targets here in the backfield. Look at this, these war lines. While the front line is doing pretty okay on the side of the Dwarves. Doing pretty okay as we are seeing a Lore Master of Hoth trying to take out the White Dwarf. Alistair here vibing out and a bunch of Quarrelers. These Silver Helms are getting shot to itty bitty bits. Peppered, if you will. As these Warlines here getting a good rush in against the Thunderers. We do finally see some of that front line actually move into support. with the Iron Drakes getting chopped up good and nasty. And looking at this, the double teaming here of Grombrindle getting a little bit battered here, but he does have some duders to hide behind. Not like a dwarf to cower, as we do see the Silver Helms now move in. Nice charge in here, managing to burst through them. Good job, but one Silver Helm is now out. Warlines still doing their work, but they're getting pretty beat up here. Slowly but surely getting attrited down as the Warlines of Kraos. The Lion Chariots of Kraos, sorry, excuse me. Going here to take out some of that battered infantry. It's going to be a Thunderer now, sent off to Narnia, into the next dimension. Thunderers here getting chewed up still. As it does seem, uh-oh. Infantry support coming in here. Not that there wasn't enough of it already. These Great Weapon Longbeards are getting attrited down themselves. And it does look as though the Phoenix King being betrayed by his... Wait, Phoenix King! Now that you're a temporary dwarf main, are you just going to call all elf mains Elgi now? And refer to yourself in third person as Dowie? Is that how it works? I'm curious. We will have to consult someone after this one. But yeah, GG's! Good job. Nicely done from the side of Darth Plagueis, who's tormented me in beginner's brackets. Phoenix King. How did stuff do? Yeah, the backfield got really badly torn up. A lot of range stuff though, so there was a lot of targets for them to have to burst through. Good job. Nicely done, nicely done. Stuff got value. There was value to be found. Warlines did pretty damn good. Chariots, yeah, they did okay. Silver Helms need to be nerfed, trust. And then the White Lions. They chopped. They weaved, they ducked, they dived, they dodged. They did a decent job. And Alistair also did pretty good. GG's. Now, this Coast versus Chaos Dwarfs. So we will take a look at that one. As our last cast today, but we will crack on with some more casts. Maybe tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. Again, thank you. There we go. Versus Codex. Oh. Okay, okay. Alright. The Extreme Meme Team. Battle to end all battles. Again, pardon me, folks. Alright. 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 For our last cast today, what are we going to see? We're going to see some Hobgoblins. Chaos Dwarf Warriors as a front line, just to hold that front. Some more flunking. Flunking? Flunking. Flanking action here from the Hobgoblin Cutthroats. Hobgoblin Archers filling up the backfield. Some blunderbusses. Considering they're about to bring the pain train, I would have thought that'd be... Never mind, that's a really stupid joke. Alright. What does his lord have? His lord has Vial of Hashut, giving him that nice Weakness to Fire. Nice little debuff. Cascading Fire Cloak as a nice buff. That's complimentary. Nice. Beautiful. Epic. Burning Head to cleave through that front line like you wouldn't believe. And then over here on the flanks we have the bats. Bats there, the bats. Currently petrified of these Hobgoblin Wolf Riders. Not electing to go for the dive. And another one there on the other flank. Did I miss anything? No, that's all of them. Alright. And then we have Sartosan Free Company. Deckhands. More Free Company. Deckhands. The guns. 1, 2, 3, 4 go. Making pew pews. If you didn't, Bahrain, if you didn't make pew pew noises while playing, but sorry, if Codex didn't make pew pew noises while doing this, something is horrifically wrong. And 3 deck gunners, one of which is the Aura War, and a cannon. Kaboom, kabam, kaplow, and animated hulks, just to hold down that backfield. And with some more night terrors, the Morngools. With Salt's Bite, with her net, catching us all off guard. Ha 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 ha. Alright, as we begin the fight, we're going to see this flanking action happening. But unfortunately, not really going to be ideal, as they're going to get that dive initially. But just a little bit too early, as the front line hasn't engaged yet. Looking at this here, the front line is still to engage here, as the Hobgoblin Wolf Rider is going to be sent off. Another Hobgoblin Wolf Rider is going to be sent off. A little bit of a blob appearing here, but very good showing here from the side of Codex for not keeping his stuff too close, expecting that burning head action to come in. Oh, I did miss something. The Salt Lord Scuttlers. Aura War deck dropper gunners. Mongols are going to saturate now, probably into this front line now that all of the other stuff has been chased off, sent off into the next dimension. I doubt they'll be coming back, as we do see now the first Zambozos disappear into the ether, cast back into the grave where they belong, as we're going to see these Paragunnery mob taking some serious damage. Animated Hulks saturating through just to hold everything down. Salt Lord Scuttlers not quite sure what to do with themselves here, but we are going to see some serious damage here coming through. RNS is taking an absolute battering here too. Want to be careful about these blunderbusses here, because if they're let do their wicked work, it's going to be a nasty one. Look at that! Holy moly! And some Chaos Dwarves coming in here. Jesus! Absolutely nuked. Man, why isn't kids, bro? What the hell? That's not fair. We are going to see this counter battery fire come in to try and take out some of the archers, but it might be too little too late. Cannons still very much in play. The Sorcerer Prophet of Fire still chilling here in the background. Looking at this. Not a great cast, probably expecting them to run out into it, but we are going to see finally these animated hulks move in, but we are going to see probably the Chaos Blunderbuss's turn to engage here in a second and light them up like Christmas trees. But we finally do see Shade Rake Gunners actually take out some of these Chaos Blunderbusses, Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses. Looking here, we are going to see all of this stuff. Hobgoblin Archers putting in some counter fire. This looks Bahrain. This is a very, very nice showing here from you. Look at this Aranessa getting lit up herself. These guys zoned out, not really able to get some good yeah, and that's kind of a good night and good luck there. As Codex is going to throw in the towel. GG's. Well played. Shake the hand. Unfortunate bestie. Alright. I'm going to have to go get ready for work, folks. And rest my poor voice. Thank you again to all of the players for coming in. Let me see if I can call them all out. I can't from memory, I'm sorry. Alright, thank you to Prime, Dark Plagueis, Contrarian Codex, Blood Pingwing, Scarbrand are living up to his namesake and taking the tournament. A big congrats to him. Spotify, Curio, Gapadors, Angel, but was a devil in bracket, Bahrain, who we just seen absolutely terrorize that poor unfortunate poor Codex, dear God. Team Milky Way Frog eating well as usual. The Phoenix King, big shout out to you for putting this all together. We love and appreciate you. All of the people in this community who host tournaments and do stuff. You all are epic and cool. You're definitely a reason why I'm still around. Frost, Tactical Lich, another caster. Seagauze for being a beast. Pug. I have Pug Nuban for spreading his contagion. Thank you all so much. And again, thank you for the night crew for putting this one together. And of course, for Tequila, who isn't here this week due to what seems to be computer troubles. You all are amazing. Well, I'll give you a ping when I continue hosting these. Oh, last thing before I go, hit me with that like, that subscribe. But I feel gross. I'm going to stop now. But if, in a more serious note, if you do have feedback for casting, do feel free to send DMs. All right, folks. Love and appreciate you all, and I'll find someplace cozy to send you all when I figure out how the hell to do it on YouTube. All right. Chat to you all.